Daryl here. The channel is Programming in Any Language. The supporting website is www.black-duck.com. The video is Text Processing Hacking Part 5. In this video, all that hacking that we did to get our calendar data is hidden from the user. We'll actually change the look of the form so that all the user sees is the completed calendar. We'll use a number of string methods in this video, including padding our variables with blanks to make them the same size. Let's take a look. Okay, it's time to work a little magic here. We've gone through all the hacking pieces we've got. We've got all the data we wanted in this thing, and now it's time to turn this thing into a calendar. And that means changing the form. Everything we're seeing on the form right now is going away. It's not going away, actually. We're going to make it invisible so we can't actually see it. We have this thing right here. This big list box here is visible. And we really don't need to see it at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to make all of these things invisible. So I'm just going to double click on this guy right here, and now it's invisible. I don't need to see this anymore either. We kind of just get rid of this, make it invisible. We could get rid of this stuff too, but why reinvent the wheel if we don't have to? We can just turn all this stuff off. We can turn these things off here. They need to be invisible. And this one becomes invisible, and this one will become invisible. So that basically gets rid of everything that we can actually see here. We can actually run this thing. We can do a file save on it right now. It will process, and we just don't see anything as it goes through here. It's done. Okay, we don't see it. We also don't need these pieces up here, so we're going to make some changes to this thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one right here and just rename it and call it, or not rename it, but put a title in there and call it the Formula One calendar. And that takes care of that guy. This piece right here, I'm going to bring it down a little bit. I'm going to make some changes to it. I'm going to arbitrarily set this thing to say month. Give it some spaces out here. START, start, and location. And that's all I'm going to do to this piece right now. Do I have anything else in there? I don't think so. I think we're going to be fine with this thing as is. We should be good. Yeah, I'll just click on it. There it is. That looks good. We'll extend this a little bit. The other thing I want to do is I want to go ahead and, in fact, I'm going to make this smaller. I don't need to see this anymore like this. I'm going to bring in a new, actually, I make a copy of this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a copy of this guy right here. So let's do a Control-C and put a Control-V here. And we're going to call this thing, this new list box, we're going to call this thing LBX calendar. List box calendar. And this is the only guy we're going to see. So I do want to make this thing visible so we can actually see it. So we'll do that there. And I'm going to make some changes to it later as far as the text go on, because there's going to be some issues with the type of font we're going to be using here. But there we go. We got read file exit going to be here. Let's kind of move this thing over a little bit. We're going to grab these things and move them all up here. We're not going to see them anymore anyway, so we don't care where they go. But we'll leave them on here. We're going to see, we can get rid of this too and bring it down here so we kind of see what things are. Move this over here. And then I'm going to take this form and I'm going to make it smaller. So let's bring this over a little bit too and bring our exit button over. And let's make the form, somewhere in the neighborhood of, let's see, wide enough so it's going to display the data. Let's see, we'll extend the height a little bit, something like that. Yeah, just go in there and fix it up, and we've got our size of our thing. Now we'll bring our exit buttons down here and our read file button down here. It's going to be our create calendar, but we won't even change the name on this thing as we go. We can then take this and make it bigger. So we want to get this thing to cover the entire section that we're looking at here. How big you want to make it is up to you. I've kind of done a little experimenting with this thing before, so I'm going to go 454 on this, and then take my formula calculator right here, and I want to actually change the font on that thing, make it larger. I think I'm going to leave this for now. I'm going to make it a larger font because I want to show you something as we get into this thing. I'm going to change the size. Now let's leave it. Let's leave it the way it is right now. Let's get the business of actually putting this thing together and making it work. So what I need to do now is I want to go ahead and create something. So I'm going to go into my code. Let's do a file save on this thing so we save what we have so far. Go into my code here. And what I want to do is I want to create a method. And that method is going to be create calendar. So basically what I'm going to be doing here is, if you remember when we come into this program and we actually do the read file, it does its thing, read file. At this point, I'm going to say create calendar. So we're going to say create and that's the method I'm going to be calling. And I'm going to create that calendar routine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here and I'm going to say private void create calendar. Why have I got those parentheses around this thing? I don't need those things. Let's fix this up a little bit here. And fix this up a little bit here. And then I can just do this. And then we got our create calendar pieces down there, and we don't have our error here. So we're all set to go. Inside here, I'm going to actually do all the processing that we're going to need to be doing. So do we need anything else? Yeah, I'm going to be, well, we'll put this in as we go along. We're going to need something in the global area. Actually, probably can put it right inside this area right here. So let's go ahead and put this thing together. We're going to need a global variable up here. So we're going to go up into the global area, and we're going to create an integer called int events. We're going to need the number of races there are in our field that we're actually bringing in. Holds number of events. And what that is, we already have that basically in all of our list boxes because we have a count inside those things. So right in here in our create calendar piece, in fact, we can see all this at once. We can actually say that int events is equal to lbx event.items.count. And that gets the count of the list box. So now we know how many we have. That's going to set up our loop so we can process through all these things and bring them together into one calendar format. So we've got that in place. Now we're going to set up that loop. So we're going to go down here and we're going to say for int x is equal to 0. X is less than, I kind of prefer to use the event count. So I'm going to use my integer. Int events. Okay, and then I'm going to also say x++. And then go for it. There's our loop. We've set up our loop now. Now, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and get the data from the list boxes one at a time. So we're going to get data from list boxes. And we do that by saying that our string calendar month, which is something we're going to need a set of variables up in here. So up in the global area, I'm going to put a number of things that I'm going to need. I'm going to need string, str calendar row. That's going to be a place to format calendar row. Then I'm going to have a string called str calendar month, and that's going to hold the month for concatenation. Another string called str calendar start. Hold start date for concatenation. And string string calendar end. This will hold the end date for concatenation. We also need the string str location calendar location. Hold location for concatenation. What our intent is to do is to take all of the data from the list boxes, concatenate them into one line, we can add to this current list box, and then display it. We're also going to want a string str blanks, and that's going to be equal to, quote, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. That's going to give us 20 blanks. And that's all we need. So now we go down to our routine that we started to create down here. Let's bring it up a little bit so we can kind of see that global area. We're going to get the data from the list boxes. So we're going to say str calendar month is equal to lbx month dot items x to string. That's going to bring in the month. Str calendar start is going to be equal to lbx start date dot items to string. Str calendar end is going to be equal to lbx end date items to string. And str calendar location is going to be equal to lbx events dot items to string. That should be the pieces we need. And I'm going to say format identical size for each element. So we've done so far, let's bring this up. We brought in one line of data into here. We're now going to format that. And we do that by going like this. We say str calendar month is equal to str calendar month plus str blanks dot substring 0, 13. So what we're doing here is we're making this str calendar month a fixed position 13 characters long no matter what month it is. So we're going to see FEB with a bunch of blanks in it, MAR for March with a bunch of blanks in it, 13 blanks to be, well, actually 10 blanks to be specific. So it's going to be 10 long when we get down to this. So that's all the same. Same thing with start date. str calendar start is going to be equal to str calendar start plus str blanks. And we're going to do the same thing, substring 0, 8, making it 8 long. str calendar end is equal to str calendar end plus str blanks substring 0, 6. And you can play with these numbers. Str calendar location is equal to str calendar location plus str blank substring 0 for 20. We're going to make it 20 long. So that gives us the pieces for our string. Now we're going to concatenate that whole thing together. So concatenate and add to calendar list box. How do we do that? We say str calendar row is equal to str calendar month plus str calendar start plus str calendar end plus str calendar location. And that puts all the pieces in there. Once we've got it in place, we can say LBX. I think I call it LBX calendar is what I call the LBX calendar dot items dot add str calendar row. And that's all we need. Now we're going to look at this thing. It's going to look funny. File, save all. Run it, hit our start, and there it is. Doesn't look very pretty. And the reason for that is we're using fonts that don't exactly align well. An M is not the same size as an I. An L is not the same size as a W. They're all different sizes. We need a consistent font here to make this thing work and make it look right. So we're going to line these things up, and we're going to gently straighten all this stuff right here and then get it all pretty when we're all done with this thing. So I'm going to hit exit on this thing. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the designer on this thing, on the calendar itself. And what we're going to do is we're going to change the font on this thing. So we're going to go to, where's our font piece right here? Here's our font. We're going to grab a font. Let's give ourselves a little more room on this thing so we can see it better. By clicking on this, we're going to find, we'd like New Courier is what we want. So we're going to take a look at it, see if it's up on top here, wherever it happens to be. New Courier. Here it is, new courier right there. And we're going to make it a size 12. And hit OK on this thing. Notice it changed the text on this thing. I'm going to go ahead and run this thing now just so you kind of see what it looks like. And we'll hit start on this thing. And notice everything is now falling in line. We've got our positioning on here because every character is the same size as the other character. So it's looking nice. Now it's simply a matter of adjusting this so it looks, so these things look proper on here. And that looks like it's going to be kind of easy. Looks like we bring month over to the beginning here. Well, we can actually do that very simply. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. We'll just adjust this thing. Matter of just making it all work. Maybe sliding this thing over like this. And maybe a slight more like this. Hold it right there. We're going to probably bring some stuff over. We'll see what we have to do. Always a little bit of tweaking on this to make this thing work. Go ahead and run it. That looks good. Let's move our start date and end date over a little bit. Location's perfect. So let's go ahead and exit this out. Give ourselves a couple spaces in the start. 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's back up the location. 1, 2, 3, 4. File, save all. Take a look. Run it. Starts pretty good. End can come back. Location's perfect. So end can come back 1. Location goes forward 1. We run it again. And now it's looking pretty good. If I want to shrink this down, you can actually see it'll have a drop-down box on here. So I'm going to go ahead and shorten this a little bit. Let's get rid of this piece here and bring this up a bit, maybe like that. Center the, oh, we don't center this thing at all. Let's go ahead and make our form a little smaller. Tighten it up a little bit. Move this so it's even with that. This so it's even with that. And up and down so they're kind of the same. Looks like they're just fine right now. Do a file, save all. We should get ourselves a cursor in here now. And there it is. We've got the bar right now, so we can actually slide down and see the rest of these things. So we have that ability of using all this box to actually scroll down. I like seeing it all, the entire race at one time, all the entire schedule sitting out here. And that's all I have. Now remember, we've got all that other stuff sitting behind this thing, all those tools that we use. To the user, they can't see that. It makes no difference. Thing looks great. We could change these fonts to look like these fonts right here, but I think it's probably just fine the way it is. So we'll keep it like this. But this is basically our finished product. We've done it now. All the user sees, user comes in, starts the program, and what do they see? They see read file. Bang, we read the file. There's our formula. All the stuff that we did, all the hacking that went inside to get those characters to come out of that text file, that HTML file, which we converted to a text file, all that is past history that the user never sees. All the user sees is a calendar, and that's all they want. That's all they really want to see. That's all it takes.
Being able to manipulate strings is something you'll probably need to do in most of the programs you write. This project takes it to an extreme to show you many of the methods you can use to process text. And this project did not use them all. We'll cover more of the methods in other applications, but this gets you started. The code for this project is available in PDF format on the website. Enjoy. And thanks for watching. Visit the website when you get a chance. And please subscribe to the channel. There's more stuff coming every week. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.